Welcome to Our World in 5 Minutes. Here, we value time, and this is why our podcast intends to shrink every topic you might be so curious of but lack the time.
I'm Diana.
I'm Mafer.
I'm Stoyan, and this is Our World in 5 Minutes. Today's episode, we will be focusing especially on realism and liberalism. Is that a better theory? Which better describes our world?
Realism belongs to the classical tradition, and it is based on a concept of eternal and unchangeable nature of international politics. International theory is both very young and old at the same time. The very origins of classical realist tradition are found in works of Thucydides, the ancient Greek philosopher. He explains the origins of war, and he says that fear is the main driving force that brings nations to self-defense. At the end of the 15th and beginnings of the 16th century, states seeking how to interact with each other found Machiavelli's ideas of how to gain power, but more importantly, how to maintain it. Some general assumptions cover groupism, or this notion that politics takes place in a group rather than seen individually, and recalls nation states as the most important group. States are unitary actors in the international system, which is anarchic, since there is no maximum authority that regulates the balance of power. According to Mearsheimer, human nature is egoistic and driven by narrow self-interest. This is why politics is shaped with the striving for power, security, and therefore survivalism.
This is why Morgenthau defines international politics as a struggle for power and power politics. His comprehensive theory says that politics, like society in general, is governed by objective laws that have their roots in human nature, which is unchanging. It is possible to develop a rational theory that reflects these objective laws. International relations do not consist of the many little tiny issues, but they consist of the very general principles and objective laws.
Sounds pretty cool, but now I'd like to introduce you to liberalism. From the liberal lens, politics is based on liberty, limited government, scientific rationality, individual freedom, equality, and other civil liberties such as private property and elected representation. Liberalism counters realism specifically in the economic spectrum, involving interdependence and mutual benefit. Richard N. Cooper defines economic interdependence as the sensitivity of economic activity between multiple nations in relation to economic developments within them. Therefore, if both sides can cooperate and win, then power matters less.
Liberalists as well believe in an anarchical system, however, acknowledge that the state is not the primary actor, pointing out to the international and transnational organizations and companies who as well have power and impact. According to Gardner, Hoffman, Sacher, and Matthew, liberals have a belief in progress and the perfectibility of the human condition, with their faith in the power of human beings to realize that their inner potential will stay in war. Other thinkers, such as Scott Burchill, believe that human beings and their capacity to deal with people can cure the conflicts such as war, and compares this with Schumpeter's idea about war as a product of the aggressive instincts of unrepresented elites.
So now that we have heard all the theories, how do we know what theory should we use to analyze a specific issue? Should I stick to one? Is there a better theory?
It is important to highlight that we cannot categorize theories in order of importance. Theories have a function, which is to comprehend international systems, states' actions, and the contemporary issues and how to react to them. So, some issues are better analyzed in a more holistic way depending through the lens from which you are explaining reality. Some theories have limitations, and some will end up being more useful. Our task remains on comprehending their elements and beliefs, but as well as their limitations. For last, I would like to offer you an insight that will help you identify and catalog modern issues with either liberalism or realism. For this, we have chosen some of the most typical Mexican phrases used on a daily basis. Therefore, if you hear camarón que se duerme, y se lo lleva la corriente, or ya te cargó el payaso, then realism characterizes that practicality. Both phrases make reference to a constantly evolving world, and if you don't defend or act for yourself, the flow of life takes you and shifts you away. On the other hand, the famous saying, el perico donde quiera es verde, or a darle que es mole de olla, both making reference to first the individual self and its well-being, while mole de olla is so good it finishes so fast, it relates to the rapid expansionism of liberalism and its key elements of focusing on the economic and optimization processes.